All right, peace. Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, giving honor and praise to the God of Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov. Giving double honors to 7130 South Chicago that taught me this truth. And giving double honors to all the brothers and sisters that the Creator has woken in these last days. With that being said, peace and shalom. All right, brothers and sisters, I want to go into a discussion of a podcast that I was listening to last night, Fox News, with an individual by the name of Mark Levin, right? And if people don't really know him, he's like a person, a podcast personnel, a radio personnel that talks about a lot of things going on around the world and in America from a conservative standpoint of view. He's a conservative Jew, right? His religion is Judaism, right? I believe he was raised as a Jewish person. But, you know, the beginning of the program, he was talking about how sacred the American flag is and what the representation of the American flag is. Basically, it's a part of the republic. They're basically the ancestors or the forefathers that established America. You know, George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Abraham Lincoln, all these people. You know, he talks about how great these people were. But really, they may be great for him. But far as the so-called black man's point of view, they're not great for us. See, history teaches us that Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves. But when you read Lerone Bennett's book, Forced into Glory, you find out another side of Abraham Lincoln, that Abraham Lincoln was a staunch racist, right? That when he first came into office, he said that the first thing, he hated the fact that his first day in the office is to come up with a situation to deal with the nigger problem, see? And some of his cabinet members, they talked about how Abraham Lincoln would use the N-word on a regular basis regarding so-called black folks. But history says because the conqueror, when he conquers the world, he could create history how he wants to. So the conqueror says that Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves, right? But see, Abraham Lincoln did not free one slave. Abraham Lincoln used black people to fight in the war, the Civil War, right, between the North, to do what? To maintain the Union. Is because the South saw the North as a threat, see? And also the North is accredited for allowing the slaves to come to the North to seek freedom. But the North was just as racist as the South, see? George Washington, all these people, they were slave owners. So my thing is, what is so great about these presidents? And they were conquerors. They went around the world conquering people. America was conquered by the so-called white man. See, certain parts of California, all over, they conquered this country. So Mark Levin represents the old mentality. Him, Donald Trump, and a lot of these different conservatives, they represent the old spirit of America. See, where the people was afraid of America. Where the black man knew his place. when the white man walked down the street, he bowed his head. See, that's the old America that they want. But they have gotten crafty over the years, right? The Democrats and the Republicans. One of the ways for them to maintain their structure and power is to persuade the Negro to follow them. And this is what we doing. So Levin, he can see the writings on the wall of the fact that the country is at arms and America is losing her grip. But what they don't understand is that America is losing her grip. America is losing her grip is because she's being judged by the Creator. Because America is a hypocrite. See, talk about God. See, he's proud to be a Jewish person. Because according to history, fake history, that the Jews are the people of the Bible, right? But let's say that they are. Let's say that the Creator is dealing with the Jews, right? But what peace and prosperity that they have brought amongst the people? None. See, they running around just like all the other conquerors trying to conquer folks. They wage war against other nations. See? So Mark Levin is basically a warmonger. And see, he see that America is falling, and he has a problem with that. Right? Which he should. If I see my country up in arms, and it's in disarray, I'm going to have an issue with that too. But see, we have to, the law says, not so much the law says, but people in law say you gotta accept accountability. And see, what's happening with the so-called white man, he don't want to accept the accountability that he has sown seeds of deceit amongst the people for centuries. See? And this is an old saying in the neighborhood. See, if you live by the sword, you're going to die by it. And this is what they have been living by. Let's look at this. Let's turn to the 49th chapter of the book of Psalms, right? And it says, 49th chapter of the book of Psalms, the 11th verse. Their inward thoughts is that their houses shall continue forever. What does that mean? Most of these people think that America is going to continue forever. See? Yeah, we have some hiccups here and there, but the country, which is America, the government, is going to always be here. We're going to always be playing football games, and we're going to pass this down to our kids. We're going to continue to have our foot on the nation's neck, see? Killing leaders and propping up new leaders. So it says, their inward thought says that their houses shall continue forever and their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own names. See? So what does that mean? He's upset that he can't rule over people no more. See? That the nations are not in fear of these folks anymore. Right? So he has a problem with that. So his whole thing is to come on his podcast and to ratchet up the American people so that they can be in the spirit of what? War. See? Because they see that the country is falling, and the nations around the world are gathering themselves together against America. See, he sees that. But the thing is this. The reason why they gather themselves against America is because America has done a lot of bogus stuff back in the day. See? And karma is something else. When you do wrong to people and you don't repent from the wrong that you have done to people, that stuff comes back on you. So the 5th chapter of the book of Psalms, I'm going to read the 9th verse. It says, "For there is no faithfulness in their mouth." See? They talk God, but they not godly. You know how many years that we've been talking about reparations in this country? They won't give it to you. But the Jews are always talking about what? The Holocaust. 5 million Jews being killed, right? But look how many people of our people that have been killed. We have been killed by the hundreds of millions, see? And we're still being killed and disrespected in this country. So it says, "For there is no faithfulness in their mouth. Their inward parts is very wicked." Their inward part is very wickedness. See? Deceit. You run around here telling these countries if they don't do what you say, basically you're going to starve them out. And they have been doing that for years. Now these countries are coming together, putting their differences to the side for the common good, to put her down. Now he has a problem with that, see? But Mark Levin represents who? The merchants, y'all. See, that's in the 18th, I think the 17th chapter of the book, or the 18th chapter of the book of Revelation. See, he represents the merchants. How they ruled the countries with an iron fist. And the people wouldn't dare to put their hands up against them. Or if they did, then they're going to be slaughtered. See? It says their throat is an open sepulcher. They flatter with their tongues. Look at him now. See, you go to his page, he talking about how Kamala Harris and Joe Biden is tearing up the country. Their kids missing, 400 and some kids, and this year are being missing. They coming up missing. They don't care about nothing like that because they're the ones that's adopting these people. See? It's just like selling drugs, right? Okay, you go to jail a couple of times, right? No, let's look at this. You sell drugs, right? So you've been on the corner all this time. You may have went to prison a couple of times, but they call prison colleges, criminal colleges. So once you go to jail, you get smarter. You say, look, here it is, I'm the man. Why do I got to get on the corner? I had these young guys selling this stuff, and my hands won't touch the product. And that's the mentality of these folks. See? They do certain things behind the scenes. You don't even know it's there. You think it's coming from somebody else, but they taking their orders from America. That's the mentality that they got. So it says they flatter with their tongues. He's talking about how his grandfather, his father, they fought in the World War. But what was they fighting for? They weren't fighting for the freedom of America. And most of these folks that was fighting the wars back then in the 50s and the 30s, they was racist. See? They were white supremacists. They want to talk about the Nazis. They was Nazis then. Right? 5th verse. The foolish shall not stand in thy sight. That's what's going to happen with these cats. Because Mark Levin was supposed to be a child of the Creator, they don't even understand the word of Yah. See, these are nothing but modern day Gentiles. See, the Muslims, the Christians, the Jews, the Hindus, all these are Gentiles. And the Creator is doing what? Conditioning them to go to war with each other. And see, this stuff is going to be catastrophic. See, back in World War I and World War II, I think it's estimated almost 50 million people died during that war. And it was like 30 or 40 people that was hurt in that war. But we talking about the billions. It's going to be billions of people that's going to lose their life in this next war that's going to be happening. Because this is the war of all wars. It says, the 6th verse, thou shalt destroy them that speak leasing, Yah will abhor the bloody and deceitful man. That's what's happening. How they deceitful? Like I said, they control the food. They control the air. They poison the food. They done poison the air. They poison the mind of the people. And these people is not going to be able to stand before the Creator. Let's look at something else. Ezekiel 58. Let's look at the book of Ezekiel real quick. 38th chapter. And then we'll be done. I ain't going to be that long. Ezekiel, the 38th chapter. See, why vocab alone and them ain't talking about this? See, because they ain't nothing but white supremacists themselves. Let's look at this. Ezekiel, the 38th chapter. I will start at the 10th verse. It says, thus saith Yahweh Elohim, it shall also come to pass that at the same time shall things come into thy mind, and thou shalt think an evil thought. And that's what's going on with these people. They can't change even if they wanted to. See, they can't change. Because, see, this is the devil that the Bible is speaking of. A lot of these people worship Satan. We think that they righteous people because they got yarmulkes on and they call themselves Christians. Let's look at this. 52nd chapter of the book of Psalms, the 2nd verse. Thy tongue deviseth mischief. See, and that's what he's doing on his podcast. Sowing mischief, blaming everybody else on why America is falling. America is falling is because why? America was created off of racism, slavery. See, deceit, murder. You've been telling us for years. You still telling us. You still want to celebrate Thanksgiving. And here it is. Thanksgiving was a day of murder and destruction of the so-called Native Americans. It says, thy tongue deviseth mischief like a sharp razor. See? Ain't that something? Working deceitfully. I listened to him for 38 minutes. All this guy was talking about was how the Democrats is destroying the country. The Democrats ain't the only one destroying the country. The Republicans is. It's because all of these guys represent who? The Roman Empire. So with that being said, brothers and sisters, I just wanted to come on here real quick, do a quick video talking about current events. Shalom.